Here's a quick update on the garden. So at the front here, this first 1 meter is not part of our lot. So on all of the lots here in Montala, and I guess most of the other subdivisions, the first 1 meter is actually maintained by them. So they've planted this ground cover here, which will get these like pretty little yellow flowers on it. So basically, once you finish the construction and you move in, they will put this at the front of each of your houses. Now, next to our path here, we've put this. We're going to replace these peace lilies here. But yeah, we put some pots there, so I believe we're allowed to do that. But you can't plant stuff in the ground there. So this kind of line here is where our actual lot starts. So for the first 1 meter also, you have to do kind of a bare concrete. You're not allowed to do a finish. I guess it's so that everyone looks the same. But that's why, in case any of you wonder, why we don't have the pebbles going all of the way, and the same on the drive there. So we planted this silum at the front here, in front of the palm tree. We've added another basket of ferns here, and we'll take a look at how other things are doing. So we have the Veitchii here, which is now getting indirect light, as you can see. Gets a little bit of morning sun, but it's kind of filtered by these ferns, which are there, and also as well these ferns that are up above. They also help to provide it that shade. So we don't have any new shoots coming out on it yet, but I hope that we will do soon. I think it's still kind of establishing its roots. But the idea is that this is going to climb up the wall there and provide kind of a grand entrance. So we got a new leaf just came out on the, I believe this is called a Hellamina. We have a new leaf also just opened up on our Alocasia albo. So this gets quite a lot of sun here at the front, so that's good for the variegation. We also have a new leaf coming out as well on the Alocasia nigra. So what I like about these is the leaves are really long lasting. Even these ones here, which are the oldest leaves on this, that's kind of the size it was when we started, are still looking in quite good condition because they're quite thick and leathery compared to, say, this on this albo, especially the variegated parts. You can feel they're very thin, and they really don't last. So although the variegated plants look pretty, they're not quite as long lasting and hardy. So our calatheas here are doing very well. So this is a big species of calathea. It's getting very bushy, kind of taking over the space. We planted our Monstera adoncii here, and now going down the side. So we had a lot of rain lately, which kind of flooded this area a little bit. So this is not faring well after the heavy rain, but I hope that it will survive. We've also got our Prince of Orange here as well. So this area was kind of very well flooded, but the good thing is about them being outdoors is that they're not going to rot as quickly as what, say, they will when they're inside a pot, because once the rain stops, you know, the water has a pathway and a route to drain away, so it will go away eventually. This Alocasia elephant ears here doesn't seem to be getting any bigger. It is making more leaves, but not getting any bigger. So I don't know, possibly it's not quite enough sun down the side of here. But anyway, we don't need it to be huge down the side here. And also we've got the Olympiad. It has a new leaf starting to shoot out there. So this will get quite large eventually. So we're going to also be adding another living wall on this area here. That will be a big project. And as you can see, it's quite shady here. And then later on, it gets some evening sun. So it will be a really nice environment for the philodendrons on this wall when that gets done. So that will be a big project. Maybe sometime next year. So our Veitchii that we put up on the wall the other day, the leaf there was a little bit skew with, has kind of rotated itself around. So as I said, when you first put these things up on the wall, they've been used to growing in one direction, and now you're trying to kind of force them into another. So this leaf, if you saw the video when I first put this up, it was kind of almost horizontal to the wall, but just it's by itself over the past couple of days, it's just rotated around, you know, finding its own way, trying to find the light. There's our new leaf on the Veitchii there. So you can see they come in a very different shade of green to what they actually end up. So the new leaves always come in a little bit different. Also as well, you know, you can see on the Glorious here, it's a lighter shade of green when the new leaves come in. Another one that we just had a new leaf come in on is here. This is the Philodendron gigas. So when the new leaves come in on this, they're this beautiful bronzy color. Really, really nice bronze color. And you can see they kind of then fade eventually to almost a very dark green, almost kind of black in some cases. But that's the new leaf on the gigas. So the gigas has also started to root itself into this fern pole. So this likes to climb, of course. So I put a fern pole on it. So this is a piece of wood from the kind of stalk of a fern tree, and it holds the moisture. As you can see, it's got this nice texture to it, so the roots can kind of grip onto it and find a way into there. So you can see there the gigas roots are starting to attach themselves into there. And once this reaches the top of this pole, I'll probably add another pole. I'll have this gigas go as big as it can go, and once it reaches the top of the wall, then I can cut and propagate. So another new leaf we have coming in here on our Gloriosum. So this one, probably 3 weeks ago, I showed the little shoots. So as you can see, they are slow to push out the new leaf. You know, when a new leaf it starts showing signs of a new leaf, it can take up to a month for a new one to come out. But they are, you know, worth the wait. The glorious, classic philodendron, really nice leaves. So you may be wondering, what's the difference between the Glorious and the Gloriosum? Well, the the other way around, the Gloriosum and the Glorious. So the Glorious is a hybrid. This is a crossbreed of the Gloriosum and the Melanochrysum, which I have on the roof garden at the front. So it was a crossbreed originally from Australia. So you've got the kind of veining that you see on the Gloriosum, but the leaf shape is slightly more elongated. It's a little bit more heart-shaped on the Gloriosum compared to the Glorious. So the Glorious leaves are a little bit longer, as the Melanochrysum leaves are shaped like the gigas. So you imagine you've got some of the genes from this type of shape of leaf, which is elongating these, and they tend to go a little darker. Even the mature leaves on the Gloriosum are not as dark as this, because obviously it's got that Melanochrysum in it as well, which helps make it darker. But when the new leaves come in, they, apart from the shape, they are very resemblant of a Gloriosum. So the other difference that you'll find is in the petiole. So the petiole on the Glorious is round, whereas the petiole on the Gloriosum is kind of a flat topped D shape to the petiole there. So that's the difference between the two. We have a new leaf that came out on the Mexicanum. We have another new leaf which is going to come out on our Pariso Verde. And the thing that I'm most excited about today is on the Veitchii, which is hiding away up at the top here. I'll go up on the ladders in a moment and give you a closer view. The Veitchii has a new leaf coming out. So thankfully, I'm happy about that. That's probably my most expensive plant to date. And it came in from Ecuador to Zamboanga, and then from Zamboanga to Pampanga. And I was worried that maybe it wasn't going to survive. So I kind of put it into a humidity environment for a week, and then I brought it out here put up on the wall, made a nest for it, as is the way that I've started planting now my larger philodendrons. So the Beate, the Veitchii, the Paraiso Verde, they're all inside of a mesh bag like this here. So there's a mesh bag basically, which then we fill up with cocoa peat and rice husk and cocoa bark and some moss. So the great thing about planting them like this, as I've said in other videos, it's very easy for it to drain. A lot of air can circulate. It will dry out quickly, so it doesn't remain too wet. It doesn't hold the moisture too much. And when you start seeing the roots starting to come out through the mesh, then you know that it's time to repot it. Basically, you can just make a bigger mesh bag and put this inside of it. So you don't need to disturb the roots at all, don't need to take it out of the mesh. So that's probably what we'll end up doing with the Veitchii. It's in kind of a bag at the moment, a nest about this kind of size of your hand. But probably in maybe 12 months or so, we will need to put it into something bigger. But at least the roots are not constricted. We'll see when it needs to go in something bigger. And I'm really looking forward to having beautiful big Veitchii leaves hanging down on this wall. It may take a couple of years to get to that stage. So that's what's going on with the living wall. Our Monstera Deliciosa Borsagina here doesn't have a new leaf coming out yet, but we'll see how that goes over the coming few weeks. We have another flower coming on our lotus. It looks like it's going to be a smaller one than previous flowers that we've had. We've got lots of coin leaves, so I'm hoping that once summer comes again, this will flourish. They really like it to be a little bit more sunny than the spot that this is in. And recently also we've had a lot of rain and cloudy weather, so the water is cold and they really don't like it. They like a warmer water in order to produce more flowers and leaves. But we've got another shoot just breaking through the surface here. I think that's going to be another leaf. I don't think that will be a flower. So moving on over here, our philodendron, I think this is a gigantum, is living up to its name. It's pretty big. Soon we're probably going to need to either provide it some support or cut it and propagate it, because this is really getting large now. So you can see it's got plenty of aerial roots there. So if you wanted to propagate this, you would basically kind of cut beneath one of the nodes, make sure you get a couple of leaves and the aerial roots there, and it'll root quite easily because it's already got roots basically there. But I'm not growing my plants to kind of sell and propagate really, so I'll grow it as big as I can for the space until either it's going to fall over and it needs cutting. So that's starting to fill up the space there. Our Black Majesty back here has a new leaf and another one coming. I planted some grass seed here, so you can see this is starting to sprout. This area, when we were doing some work here, kind of the grass got trampled on and a little bit destroyed. So I reseeded it. I brought some Scott's turf seed on Lazada, and it's a mix which has for shady and bright areas, so it'll work in both, because this area here, it kind of gets some sun, but you can see it's kind of shady as well. So I'm hoping that this particular mix of seed will do well, and it is sprouting. It's coming up now, so I'm happy about that. Just got to avoid walking on it. The recent wind and rain beat up one of the Black Magic leaves there, but we have plenty of new Black Magics coming out. This has gone crazy with making shoots and babies, so there was rhizomes appearing all over the place. I keep having to kind of redirect them because they were spreading all the way over here. We did have a pest munch on the philodendron mirabilis. which is unfortunate because that would have been a very nice leaf. It was smaller though than the others, but it's also growing a little bit leggy. I think because it was very shaded here, the elephant ears here had some really big leaves on it that we've cut off. So now some more sun can get in there. I'm hoping that will come up with some bigger leaves. Probably when this elephant ear is nearing the end of its life, it's starting to look a little bit messy. We'll probably take that out, as now we've got enough stuff to kind of fill the space. Oh, hello cat. So that's what's going on there. And then coming around here, we saw the new leaf on the philodendron soderoy aff the other day. So it's getting a little sunburnt on the edges here. This does get some bright sun. I'm working on something, actually. We're going to be putting a canopy above here, a trellis, that we can put some hanging plants on and have some crawling plants crawl along the top of the trellis. And that will provide enough shade here to help these plants, because this new soderoy leaf, as you can see, has got a little bit of sun damage. Also the plough-mani got a little bit of sun damage as well. So anyway, you know, I'm not living in a forest, so I have to try to recreate as best I can the environment. So that's why we'll add the trellis to give some more shade to the area. Our El Choco Red looks like it's starting to produce a new shoot there, I hope. This one hasn't produced anything yet, a bit like the Beate at the front, but I think it was just maybe establishing some roots before it wanted to send out a new leaf. We've got another Gloriosum here. So another difference between the Gloriosum and Glorious, I forgot to mention. The Gloriosum will crawl along the ground, and the Glorious will climb or crawl, because it's a crossbreed, depending on the situation you put it in. So this one that we've got here has been kind of crawling, but kind of wanting to climb. So actually I just put in today another one of these kind of fern poles. So I'm hoping that these aerial roots that it's starting to get here will begin to latch into there, and hopefully this will climb up this pole. And the post comes up to about here, so it can climb a good few feet. And if it climbs, I think it'll be happier and maybe produce some bigger leaves, although these leaves are already a pretty decent size. So I'll go and get the ladders and we'll go up and take a look at how the Veitchii new shoot is doing up there before we sign off this video. So here is the Veitchii. These were the two leaves that were on it when it came. This leaf was already damaged like that when it arrived. So it hasn't got any worse. A little bit of yellowing around the edge compared to when it arrived, but nothing really bad. So I was pretty sure it was going to survive. I just wasn't sure how long it would take before it starts producing a new leaf, because I've heard that they can be a slow grower and they can be a little bit finicky. But I think, you know, I'm blessed with living here in the tropics. It's kind of its natural environment. I put it high up on the wall. It gets a little bit of filtered light. I'm trying to replicate, obviously I don't have a tree to put it on, but that kind of environment that the Veitchii grows in the wild, which is high up in the jungle canopy on a branch of a tree. So, yeah, I think that it's obviously happy because it's creating a new leaf. So here is the new leaf coming out. I don't want to touch it. They can be quite sensitive. So that's another thing with these Veitchii, especially when the new leaves come in. You've got to be kind of careful with them. So I'm a little bit concerned that these ferns can sometimes be a little bit rough. They might, you know, damage the edge of the leaf. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to see that come out over the next few days. And we'll see how this Veitchii looks like.